Western Athletic Conference Baseball, Saturday matinee baseball, and it's here on ESPN+. It's the rubber match of a three-game series. It's been a good one this weekend. It's Utah Valley, the Wolverines at 5-3 in the WAC, visiting the ACU Wildcats at 7-4. Welcome into, again, Game 3 of this best-of-3 series, or three-game series here between Utah Valley and ACU. Andy Penny alongside Coy Oslin, the Wolverines of Utah Valley, 13-14 overall. ACU at 16-11. It's been a good series thus far. Utah Valley's the winner on Friday night by a final of 7-3. ACU bounced back with a win yesterday by a final of 8-6. And Coy, it sets up a Game 3, a rubber match here between these two ball clubs. Been a good weekend of baseball thus far.
Yeah, Andy, it's about what everyone could have expected. Two teams very evenly matched in very specific areas, and here we are, rubber match on a Saturday afternoon.
As the Utah Valley team has bounced in the WAC standings, we'll take a look at those. The Wolverines started the weekend in 5th. They won Friday. They bumped up to 2nd, but an ACU win has bumped Utah Valley back to 5th. ACU there in the 4th place spot. A lot on the line. Still plenty of baseball to go after today, but a lot on the line in the top half of the conference standings.
Yeah, about a hair between everyone in those top 5, Andy. It can go back and forth, and they're all very competitive in their own ways. Of course, GCU, UTA, Cal Baptist, ACU, and Utah Valley are all amazing programs right now, and as close as it can be in this great conference, Andy.
So Game 3 is today. Again, Utah Valley the winner on Friday by a final of 7-3. Chase Hennessy had the start in that contest on Friday. Only went 2/3 of an inning, just threw 25 pitches. It's part of the script for Eddie Smith and the Wolverines, and that's what they'll do again. Chase Hennessy will get the start for Utah Valley. And for ACU, it's the freshman left-hander who's been phenomenal here as of late. Brett Landman will get the start for the Wildcats.
And you can talk about it in college baseball a lot. You know, in MLB, there's the debate on the opener. Well, for ACU and Utah Valley today, you have a special situation where you have Chase Hennessy starting this game once again, and it's a situation you can't debate in college baseball because you're trying to get as many wins as you can, and whatever works for you. And then Brett Landman, what can you say about this left-hander for ACU? Absolutely stellar season for him. 2.01 ERA, 41 strikeouts to just 14 walks. And Andy, he's not a pitch-to-contact pitcher. This year, he's averaging about 9.77 flyouts per game and 3.73 groundouts, but he's striking out 11.78 batters per game. So a very power-dominant pitcher who wants to get his batters in tough situations.
Landman is the reigning WAC pitcher of the week. Last week on the road at Sacramento State, got the start in Game 3, the Sunday afternoon final game of that three-game series. He went 7 innings, no runs, 2 hits versus Sacramento State in an ACU 2-0 win. 2 weeks ago against UT Arlington, a game that the Wildcats won as well. He retired 18 in a row after giving up 2 early runs in the first inning. He then retired the next 18 from the first through the 6th inning. So he has been something pretty special here for Rick McCarty and the Wildcats. Here's a look at Utah Valley's starting lineup. It's very similar to what we've seen, a team with a team batting average of 283 on the year. Daniel Dickinson will lead it off. Jaden Smith will bat second. Of course, Smith had the big grand slam on Friday in the 7-3 Wolverine victory. Burt Camper a home run as well on Friday. He will be back behind the dish. He was DH yesterday. He will catch today. Callan Halverson will bat cleanup. Nate Bach, Cole Jordan 5-6. And then Garrett Broussard, Isaac Lovings, and Matthew Swartz round up the lineup. Lovings a big day yesterday, 2 for 4 with a home run and a double. So Utah Valley trying to get 2 out of 3 today, as are the Wildcats trying to get 2 out of 3. And Coy, this has been the narrative for the Wildcats over the course of WAC play. This is their 4th WAC series. In all 4, they have lost the first game. They've won the second. In the first 3, they have won the 3rd game. They'll try to do the same again today.
Yeah, and winning that 3rd game, a lot of credit's got to go to the man that's going to be on the bump today, Brett Landman. Like I said, he's been just dominant in all his starts, and to do what he's doing, not only just in his first season of college baseball, but in his first time as a player in the WAC. That's impressive. This is a very aggressive conference, a lot of big power hitters, and to be a pitcher like him at such a young age is something really to be accredited. But I'm sure Eddie Smith's team's going to have an answer for him today. They're not lacking any bats at all in that lineup, as we know.
You can see Brent Landman and the Wildcats have taken the field. Here's a look at the defense for Rick McCarty. It's the same lineup that Coach McCarty sent out yesterday. Ladisaw, Boro, and Staley in the outfield left to right. Benjamin Greer the start at third base. Payne Williams in the middle. D'Alessio starts over at first. Maddox Meese there again for the freshman left-hander. Brett Landman, 6'4", 230 pounds. He's out of Lovejoy High School there in the Metroplex, the north side of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And he's been something special here in his freshman year, as we've touched on. We'll continue to touch on as this one gets underway. And it's nice to walk into Game 3 of a series knowing that you still have plenty of pitching on your staff.
Yeah, and Rick McCarty, all credit to him on how he's utilized his bullpen this week. It's been some tough situations, but he hasn't had to use necessarily all of his heavy hitters, especially yesterday. They got out of a tough jam there. Utah Valley really had a comeback working for him, had a couple fly balls there in the ninth that could have done some damage, but that win definitely played a factor.
ACU the win yesterday, 8-6 the final, a game where the Wildcats scored all 8 of their runs in the bottom of the third inning, all with 2 outs after the first 2 were retired. 11 consecutive Wildcat batters reached, 3 courtesy of the walk, 8 with hits. It manufactured 8 runs, had an 8-0 lead, and held on for the 8-6 victory. And the Wolverines won on Thursday night by a final of 7-3, a game that ACU led 3-2 in the top of the 7th. Jaden Smith, though, a grand slam for the Wolverines, gave them a 6-3 lead. They went on to win by a final of 7-3. The rubber match about to get underway here. Landman is ready to go. Daniel Dickinson has stepped in, and we are underway here in Abilene. Beautiful day today, 76 degrees here at first pitch, 12:05. Chance we'll get into the low 80s by the end of the game today. Ground ball left side, charging is Payne at shortstop. Quick, easy out to get things underway. 1 up, 1 down.
Very good play there for Zant Payne, playing that ground ball as easy as he can. We talked about it in this series. This turf can play a little bit of choppers, and right there, Zant Payne, an easy field over for the 6-3 put out. Something that ACU had struggled with yesterday in particular, the problems on that left side of the infield. Andy, you got to think they were working on that before this ball game.
So quick one out here in the inning, and here's Jaden Smith, the left fielder. Team leader in batting average. He came in to start the weekend at 400. It has dipped to still a hefty 391. He's 3 for 9 on the weekend. Of course, the grand slam on Thursday. Landman attacks the zone, a fastball at 91. It's quickly no balls and 2 strikes. The junior, Gilbert, Arizona, had 2 hits last night. Here's the 0-2. Swung on and missed. Big time heat for Brett Landman. He has his first strikeout.
Well, he wants to attack early. I talked about this, Andy. He's not the type of pitcher that likes to have a lot of balls in the air and ones on the ground. He likes to go in and get those strikeouts, and he's going to do that every chance he can.
Quick 2 outs as Burt Camper, today's catcher, steps in. 2 for 8 on the weekend, a home run, a double. His home run came in the opener in the first inning, 2-run shot. Quick turnaround from last night. Had a 6:05 first pitch Central Time last night to a 12:05 start today. To help with the travel home for Utah Valley, they'll make their way home after the game this afternoon. So quick turnaround here for Game 3. Quickly, no balls and 2 strikes. Landman into the wide, the 0-2. Stay up high. And Landman last week just 2 hits over 7 innings versus Sacramento State. Only stranded 4 base runners in those 7 innings. Well, the 1-2 just missed. Middle of the infield thought that was strike 3. Made that first step over to the dugout.
Good job by Camper with some patience here. You'd be a little bit nervous against a guy like Brett Landman when you're down 2 strikes.
2-2, swung on and missed. It's back-to-back strikeouts for Landman. And a 1-2-3, top of the first. Utah Valley goes quietly in the first. ACU bats, they'll come up for the first time. WAC baseball on a Saturday afternoon, ESPN Plus. Bottom of the first, Wildcats will come to bat for the first time this afternoon. They'll see for the second time this weekend the starting pitcher, the right-hander, Chase Hennessy Coy, who makes his NCAA leading 12th start here in 2024.
Yeah, it's that opener type of feel for him, and you look at the numbers and you say, okay, maybe it's not working out. Maybe it's not. Hey, this guy had been pretty lights out, Andy, since playing Portland on March 1st, where he gave up 8 runs in just a third of an inning. But ACU the other night, Thursday night, came in 3 runs in just 2/3 of an inning. He did not spend a lot of time on that mound. So right now, using that opener right here, this is going to be an interesting strategy to see how he can do today.
The 6'6" right-hander out of Westminster, California. He'll see this lineup: Payne, Ladisaw, D'Alessio, Williams, Van Atten, Meese, Staley, Greer, and Boro for Rick McCarty. Zan Payne will get the first pitch. It's upstairs. Payne on the weekend is 0 for 7, but he has walked 3 times, and they've been very timely walks. He was the first to reach in that 11 consecutive batters that reached in the 8-run bottom of the third yesterday. Get an off-speed pitch for a strike. Hennessy faced only 6 batters on Thursday, 2/3 of an inning, as Coy mentioned. Gave up 3 runs. Only threw 25 pitches. There's the 1-1. It's outside. But again, this has been the strategy. This has been the 12th start. He's gone no more than an inning in all 11 of the previous. There's a look at the Utah Valley defense. Smith, Bach, Jordan, Broussard, Swartz, Dickinson, Halverson, Burt Camper the start. The battery mate here of Hennessy. Fastball gets away. It's 3 balls and 1 strike. There's only been 2 times in those previous 11 starts that Hennessy did not go the full first inning. One of those being on Thursday. Payne ahead in the count here, 3 balls and 1 strike. Foul that one out of play.
Good comeback pitch there to get back into this count. Have to squeeze him up there and foul it off.
Early payoff pitch here for the Wildcat offense. It's Payne ready. Hennessy out of the stretch. The payoff pitch. We'll do it again. Coy, we've mentioned, just really impressed, especially with the relief pitching on both sides, has opened up the opportunity for a whole arsenal of arms, we think, on both sides, especially for Utah Valley, knowing Hennessy will only go this first inning, or at least assuming that. I think their bullpen is well rested to play here in Game 3. Payoff pitch, swung on and missed. Good pitch for Hennessy. And Payne goes down on strikes.
That's a big strikeout right there. Zan Payne had been a problem yesterday. He got on base quite a few times and worked full count right there, but couldn't get it. And a strikeout early on here looks good for Hennessy.
Miller Ladisaw, his first plate appearance today. Miller on the year, 2 for 9, or on the weekend, 2 for 9. Solo home run on Thursday. The grad student out of Heath, Texas, the average at 347. ACU has hit 2 home runs on the weekend, both of those in the opener. Utah Valley has hit 3 home runs on the weekend. 2 Thursday, 1 yesterday. WAC leading 53 home runs on the year. Curveball for a strike. It's 1-1.
Yeah, and Ladisaw right here, Andy, he's going to be very patient. He had a couple of bats last night. He didn't pick up the bat off his shoulder till about the 3rd or 4th pitch.
The shift is on for the Wolverine defense, anticipating a pull hit to the right side of the infield. There's the 1-1. That'll stay up. 2 balls and 1 strike. Braden Balver, the win on Thursday in relief of Hennessy, went 7 scoreless innings through 107 pitches, but no runs, 5 hits. Picked up the win. Chandler Benson, the win yesterday in relief for ACU. In relief of Ian Compa picked up the win. He went 3 innings yesterday, just 1 earned run on 2 hits. Ahead in the count, Miller Ladisaw, 3 balls and 1 strike. Big cut in our 2nd consecutive full count. Wind today is blowing, I would say, again, across the field, right field pole to left field pole, about 10 to 15 miles an hour. If something gets in the jet stream on the left side, it will have a chance to get out of the ballpark. 3-2, fouled off, we'll do it again.
Very patient at bat again for Miller Ladisaw, something that he's done all season very well. That on-base percentage up quite a bit.
Patient guy at the plate. He leads the WAC in walks. He's walked 20 times this year. Knows how to work a count. 3-2 for the 2nd time. And catches the inside corner for strike 3. Ladisaw thought it was ball 4. He tossed the bat towards the dugout. He is rung up back-to-back strikeouts for Hennessy here to start the bottom of the 1st.
Well, for Chase Hennessy, that's a big out right there. Having a pretty good outing so far. Looks solid. Miller Ladisaw, of course, didn't like the call there, but got to shake it off and come back later if you're him.
Well, home plate umpire Jet Mitten calls that strike on the inside. So back-to-back Ks to get things started for Hennessy. 2 up, 2 down. There's Gino D'Alessio. Team leader in batting average at .369, 7 home runs, 31 RBIs. That leads the conference, 31 RBIs. Curveball for a strike. D'Alessio on the weekend, 3 for 9. Also had a solo home run on Thursday. 2 RBIs on the weekend. 38 hits and 103 at-bats. 6 doubles to go with those 7 home runs. Another pitch in for a strike. Hennessy taking his time. Looks a little under the weather, actually. He's asking for a little bit of time here. I don't think Hennessy's feeling 100%.
He had stepped off after the strikeout of Miller Ladisaw, and it looked like he threw up, Andy.
Yeah. Looks like he wants to do the same.
Yeah.
Training staff for Utah Valley will come out to give him a look. Head coach Eddie Smith also out, having a conversation here. Hennessy trying to fight through it. He just gave a big thumbs up.
And it could really be anything, Andy. You know, nerves, all of it. The warmest it's been in quite a while here, too.
He'll wipe the hand off a couple times. There could be all sorts of stuff on this baseball.
That's a ball player right there, Andy. That man's a ball player.
I've heard of the spitball. I'm not sure what might be on this one. Here's the 0-2. Fouled at the plate. Trying to strike out the side in order. No balls, 2 strikes. The kick, the 0-2. High and tight. D'Alessio back in, the righty-righty matchup. And this one lifted right field, right at Jordan, and right a few steps in will make the catch. Side retired in order. Nice first inning for Chase Hennessy. One inning in the books here at Crutcher Scott. We are scoreless, Utah Valley and ACU. And scoreless first inning for these two teams, ACU and Utah Valley. Pitchers get the best of the batters there in the first, both Landman and Hennessy with 2 strikeouts. It's, a weekend where we thought we'd see some offense. I think the pitching's been pretty solid for both teams throughout.
Yeah, and you talk about it. They've scored in clusters. ACU's only scored in 2 innings in this series, one in the first inning of that game 1, and then yesterday, of course, that 3rd inning. So very dominant pitching, Andy.
Brett Landman, a nice first inning for the Wildcats. Had 2 strikeouts in that first inning. He'll see the middle portion of the lineup. Halverson, Bach, and Jordan. It's Callan Halverson, the first baseman. His first look here at Landman. First pitch fouled straight back over the press box. Halverson on the weekend is 3 for 10. He leads the Wolverines in hits this weekend with those 3 hits. He and Smith both with 3. Has 2 RBIs to his name. Both of those came yesterday. He'll chop one left side. Benjamin Greer, third. Play it chest high and throw it across.
Yeah, and Andy, yesterday Benjamin Greer had a little bit of trouble over at third. But, hey, everyone had a little bit of trouble. He redeems himself with an easy put out there on the 5-3.
Rolls that one over, does Halverson. Quickly 1 up and 1 down. Talked about this Utah Valley lineup. Very right-handed dominant. All 9 in the lineup will bat from the right side. We haven't seen much left-handed pitching this weekend. Chandler Benson yesterday in relief, the only lefty that Rick McCarty has thrown until today with Landman, the scheduled Game 3 starter. As Nate Bach quickly a 1-1 count. Bach on the weekend 1 for 9. He struck out 5 times. The average at 237. He makes his 24th start of the year. 1-1 fastball stays low. ACU trying to match what they've done in each of their first 3 WAC series. Win 2 out of 3. In the rubber match, all 3 games. Check swing, does he go? No, he does not. Two balls, 2 strikes. 2-2. Hit back up the middle. Williams at second base. Had it played well in the shift. And 4-3 on the putout. Williams plays right up the middle. We've seen majority of the time this weekend, both teams, both defenses have played in the shift. Williams right up the middle. Second baseman actually a few steps to his left. Nice toss. Quickly 2 up, 2 down.
Yeah, and Andy, I talked so much about how Brett Landman likes to get up there and get the strikeout, but so far we've seen a couple ground ball outs, and hey, you got to take them as you can get them, especially against Utah Valley.
First pitch, Cole Jordan a strike. Jordan 2 for 6 on the weekend. 250 the average for the season. Landman works quickly, and the 0-1. Another fastball and another strike. Landman's ready, the glove up high, the wind, the kick, the 0-2. That's upstairs. UVU, the team batting average of 283 on the year, but this weekend, coming into today, 16 of 71, just 225. First 5 have been retired today. Now the 1-2. Fastball just missed.
That's a good battery mate right there with Maddox Meese. He really wanted that strike for his pitcher. Held it just a little bit longer.
2 balls, 2 strikes. This one hit off the end of the bat. Slow roller over to first. D'Alessio will touch the bag himself. It's another 1-2-3 inning for Brett Landman. 1.5 in the books. We're still scoreless here in Abilene. Bottom of the second inning we go. New pitcher on the mound for Utah Valley. As expected, we'll see another right-hander here, Coy, as Jackson Thomas will take over on the mound.
Yeah, Thomas coming into this ball game, junior out of Mountain View High School in Mesa, Arizona, transferred in here to Utah Valley. He hasn't made it past 4 innings this season, just 4 against Bushnell in his last appearance. Gave up an earned run, 2 runs in the game and 3 hits. Has decent numbers this season, and of course, Andy, you come into a situation where you've basically been given the keys to a game that you've already got to worry less about the first 3 batters of the ball game so far. So good day for him to come out and catch his breath.
6th appearance on the year, the 3rd time in relief, 3.65 that ERA, just 12 1/3 innings of work. Opponent batting average of .273. He'll see the middle of the lineup, Garrett Williams to lead it off, the second baseman. Williams on the weekend is 3 for 8. Multi-hit game on Thursday, single yesterday. It's Williams out of Grand Prairie High School. They're in the Metroplex, the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. South Grand Prairie High School. Here's ground ball, left side, fielded cleanly. That's Swartz at shortstop. 1 up, 1 down. 6-3 on the putout. It's a Utah Valley defense that has a .967 fielding percentage. They've made 3 errors on the weekend, but solid play up the middle this time by Swartz.
Yeah, and yesterday, that wind was so wild, you could say maybe they were overcompensating on a lot of throws. We saw a lot of errors yesterday. Saw a lot of good plays too, Andy.
DJ Van Atten, designated hitter, will take a strike. DJ 2 for 8 on the weekend, has 2 RBIs. Batting average of .280 to start the day. He'll chop one left side, charging Broussard. First step of the infield dirt, and throw across the diamond. Quickly, 2 up, 2 down. Good start here for Jackson Thomas.
Yeah, very quick work from him here. It's DJ Van Atten. Someone who usually hits him pretty hard, didn't get all of that one right there, and the 5-3 will retire him.
Pitcher's working fast today. Quickly 2 out for Maddox Meesey. Maddox, the sophomore out of San Antonio. He's 1 for 7 on the weekend. Take a fastball in. We can close the line on the starter today, Chase Hennessy, an inning of work. 19 pitches today, no runs, no hits, 2 strikeouts. Off speed stays in. It's 0-2. Or check that, 2-0. Thomas the 2-0. Fastball for a strike. It's 2-1. Again, as Coy mentioned, the last outing last Saturday for Thomas versus Bushnell goes 4 innings. 1 earned run on 3 hits, 2 strikeouts. High chopper left side. Broussard will cut it off the third baseman. Throw over. Nice pick. Halverson at first. And the side is retired in order. Nice play over at third, Garrett Broussard. It's been a defensive battle thus far. We're through 2. We're scoreless at Abilene. Two innings complete. Zeros all across the scoreboard here. Utah Valley and ACU. This rubber match. This 3-game series this weekend. Andy Penny alongside Coy Austin. Glad you're with us for WAC Baseball on a Saturday afternoon. You're looking at the reigning WAC pitcher of the week. Brett Landman off to a nice start. 2 strikeouts. He's got 4 ground ball outs as well in his 2 innings of work. I'm going to give a shout out to Connor Madison, the starter at Grand Canyon. Got a good feeling he might be the WAC pitcher of the week this week. Madison throws a no-hitter last night for GCU versus Sacramento State. 2 walks, 2 hit by pitch. That was it, 125 pitches. Madison got the no-hitter in a 4-0 win for GCU last night. Of course, GCU right now first place in the standings at 8-3. ACU at 7-4. Garrett Broussard to lead off the top of the third. He'll foul back the first pitch. Something you don't see in college baseball very often is just an opportunity for a starting pitcher to go all 9 innings, much less throw a no-hitter.
Well, when you work with those 3-man rotations, Andy, you obviously you got to be careful about your pitch count, especially with how close the games are played. You got those midweeks every now and then, and to do that also in a conference like the WAC where it's very hitter-friendly, impressive outing.
Broussard 0 for 7 on the weekend. The senior take a fastball here and misses. 3 balls and 1 strike. Boy, Landman's up on the mound in a hurry, ready to roll. There's the 3-1. This one lifted out of play. Full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. But he gets that ball. He gets the glove up in front of the face, and he is ready to go. Pitch clock not a factor today. Payoff pitch. Lifted right field. Going back in right has room is Aaron Staley. And Staley will make the catch. Again, the way the wind is blowing today, that ball's going to be held up and right. Staley makes a nice grab.
Well, right there, just one of those that wind's going to blow back in, but you got to be careful playing it.
And one down for Isaac Lovings, the designated hitter today. Lovings a hot bat at the plate yesterday, as you can see, 2 for 4, had the home run and a double as well, 2 RBIs. Did not play on the opener Thursday night. .217 the average. This is 23rd game to start on the year. Has some power with 8 home runs. 8 home runs, 18 RBIs. 1-1 in for a strike. It's 1-2.
When you talk about that power that he has, you know, yesterday that wind, Andy, blowing in towards third, we really thought no one was going to be able to pull one without it going foul, and I mean, he crushed it.
It's a 1-2, swung on and missed. Landman has his 3rd strikeout. Working fast, pounding the zone with strikes. Brett Landman, 2 up, 2 down here in the 3rd.
Yeah, very effective outing so far for Brett Landman. I mean, exactly what we could have expected from him, Andy. Gets on the mound and has just dominated these Wolverine hitters.
Quickly 2 out for Matthew Swartz, the shortstop. First pitch lifted, right side, foul territory. DeLessio has room. Wind will push it back into fair territory, but he'll make the catch. A quick top of the 3rd. Brett Landman working fast. 3 up, 3 down, 2.5 already complete. Scoreless baseball in Abilene. Bottom of the 3rd coming up. Back to the ballpark. Beautiful day in the big country of Abilene, Texas. We move to the bottom of the 3rd. Still zeros all across the scoreboard for ACU and Utah Valley. Thomas Jackson, his 2nd inning of relief, and he'll face the bottom portion of the lineup, 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah, Andy, he looked stellar in that last inning. Only throwing 8 pitches to retire Van Atten, Meese, and Garrett Williams, who led off the inning. It was just an absolutely great effort from him. It'll be Aaron Staley to lead off. Staley, Greer, and Boro here. 7, 8, and 9. Staley, the 2nd start of the weekend. Rick McCarty has gone with the same lineup that played yesterday. Jackson will start him off with a strike. Staley 1 for 3 yesterday. Roll one over here. Foul, though. It's 0-2. Staley hit one opposite way yesterday. The 3rd baseman, Broussard, played well in. He was playing in the infield grass at 3rd, anticipating a potential bunt. Staley hit one past him as he was drawn in, hit it the opposite way for a single yesterday. Scored a run in that 8-run 3rd. There's the 0-2. Defensive swing there for Staley here in this 0-2 count. A couple of these guys really like to get on base. They haven't had the series maybe that they've wanted to.
Another 0-2 foul back. Again, we played the rubber match. Utah Valley a 7-3 win Thursday. ACU 8-6 yesterday. 0-2 again. This one hit the opposite way and past to diving Broussard. Bust up all the zeros on the scoreboard, our first hit. It's a leadoff single for Staley the opposite way.
And yesterday, Andy, this is what did the damage for the Wildcats in that third inning. Single after single after single. You can start here with this one. Those will do a lot of damage if you can get them together.
It's a good way to swing the bat. 2 strikes, just protect the plate. Hit it, choke up, hit it the opposite way. Get yourself a single. Here's Benjamin Greer. Will show bunt. Trying to lay it down, but foul at the plate. Broussard anticipating bunt at third. He plays in the infield grass.
Well, any scouting report will tell you, Andy, this ACU team loves to use small ball. They can move those players around the bases as they need to. You've got a lot of speed in the bottom of this lineup with Staley, Greer, and Borjo, and even at the top with Zant Payne and Ladisall.
Greer on the weekend, 3 for 7. He'll pull it back this time, a high fastball. 3 for 7 on the weekend. Had a double yesterday, tried to stretch it to a triple, was thrown out at third. It's been a good weekend, though, at the plate for Greer.
Yeah, Nate Bach in center field, great return last night, trying to catch a runner, and he did.
Staley back in at first. 300 the average for Greer. Makes just his 9th start. The bat has become hot. He's versatile in the field. Played right field on Thursday. Third base yesterday. Third base again today. You can see Broussard in on the corner at third. Swinging, flaring one, down the left field line and fair. Staley will make his way to third. Greer to second. It's a how do you do opposite field tailing double down the left field line. Wildcats have something brewing here in the third.
Well, Andy, you talk about it. Benjamin Greer this season, he has been absolutely great for Rick McCarty. He's done everything that Coach McCarty could have asked him for, and he's found his way into this lineup as a starter, and right here continuing that momentum he's had.
2 on, 2 in scoring position. Reese Borjo, the center fielder. His first at-bat today in the 9 spot. Reese on the weekend, 2 for 7, has a double. Thomas will continue to work out of the stretch. Off-speed pitch for a strike. Reese, the freshman, here out of Abilene. Makes his 16th start of the year. Utah Valley infield plays deep on the right side. They'll take a ground ball out for a run here in the bottom of the third. There's the 1-1. Bunt laid down right side. It's a nice one. It will do the job. Halverson will get the out over at first, but Staley will score. Great execution of the bunt. Reese Borjo and the Wildcats, a 1-0 lead.
This is exactly what you need. This is a sacrifice bunt, Andy, as textbook as can be. You don't want to necessarily get on base with a sac bunt. Your goal is to get the infield to move as much as possible, and right there you had no option but anyone to not cover home.
So execution at its finest. Reese has an RBI. It's his 9th of the year. Wildcats a 1-0 lead. Greer able to move to third as well for the top of the lineup, Zant Payne. Payne struck out his first time. He's 0 for 1. And now the Wolverine infield will play in. Try to cut off this second run here in the bottom of the third inning. Swing and a miss. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Surprised by the infield in this early?
Yeah, Andy, I do think this is a good opportunity to get a double play here. If they can get it home and get it to first. Of course, Payne does have a little bit of speed, though, so could be trouble. But, of course, you'd sacrifice the out, but there's no force.
I think this is a sign of respect for
Absolutely.
Brett Landman for what he's doing on the mound for the Wildcats here as of late, and especially today. Payne will lift this one. This should do a job. Right center field, long run, Jordan, a dive. He'll make the catch in the alley. Plenty deep to score Greer. It's a great catch. It will go as a sacrifice fly, and more importantly, an RBI for the Wildcats. It's a 2-0 lead.
Well, Andy, ACU has done this series consistently, and right here, the sac fly is a big one. It can be a lot for a game, and it could be the story for today, and we've seen 2 here in this inning.
We'll give a lot of credit to Cole Jordan there and right. I thought that ball had a chance to get into the gap for extra bases. Jordan, a long run, makes an over-the-shoulder catch. Payne, though, does the job as Greer scores. Base is empty, 2 outs for Miller Ladisol. Put an asterisk by this inning, I tell you, Coy. The bottom of the lineup, 7, 8, 9. Single, double, sacrifice bunt, and an RBI, and then back to the top, sacrifice fly, and an RBI. Ladisol, he'll ground one over to first. It's fielded cleanly. Halverson will step on the bag. And the side is retired, not before ACU gets the first 2 on the board today. We've completed 3 at Crutcher Scott. It's ACU 2, Utah Valley 0. Oh, everybody's getting their running in today, running the bases. The Wildcats stampede. Coy Austin's coming around the corner at some point. Where are you, Coy?
Oh, Andy, I guarantee you I'm at the tail somewhere.
There you go. 2-0 Wildcats as we move to the top of the 4th inning. 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors thus far for ACU. Zeros across the board for Utah Valley. Brett Landman will take the mound here in the top of the 4th. He'll do it with the lead for the first time this afternoon. He'll see the top of the lineup. And to take you through the middle innings, we'll hand it off to Coy Austin. Coy.
Well, thank you, Andy. We've talked about at ACU, 13 runs in this series. All 13 of those, 1 through 3. So, third of the game for ACU. The first third has been monumental. But, hey, 2 runs is not a lot by any means with these 2 programs. First pitch from Landman. Finds the zone for strike 1. Daniel Dickinson stepping in now. The standout slugger for Utah Valley has been great all year for this program. As he watches the 0-1 and gets under it. Cracks it out into right field. Staley backing up. He will make the play for the first out of the inning.
That's just not the place in the ballpark to hit the ball today. It's in that right field power alley. The wind's going to keep that one in the ballpark. Staley plenty of time to get up underneath that one.
And right there, you see a freshman squeezing up the WAC preseason player of the year, Daniel Dickinson, for the second time in a ball game. That's got to feel good for that freshman, Andy. Jaden Smith stepping in now. Watches strike 1.
Yeah, and Dickinson's still 0 for 9 on the weekend now.
Yeah.
Still looks for his first hit.
Smith struck out in the first inning. First for Landman of the day. Second pitch grooves in there for strike 2, 72 miles per hour. Landman gets the sign and deals his 0-2. He struck him out. Brett Landman on the outside corner gets a big strikeout of Jaden Smith, the hottest bat maybe in this Utah Valley lineup, and a big out right there, Andy.
Good looking off speed pitch. Smith well out in front of it. Could not hold off on it. Quickly, 2 up, 2 down.
So 4 strikeouts through 4 innings for the ACU lefty. As we see Burt Camper stepping in now. He also struck out in that first inning, into the inning. And the first pitch to Camper will be low for ball 1.
Tell you, Coy, I just love the demeanor of Landman. Look how fast he gets back up on the mound. He's got the glove up over the face. He's ready to go.
Here's the 1-0, is shot out into right field. Staley got his wheels going. This one is back. It's going to bounce. It's going to be off the wall. Headed for second is Camper. He's got some wheels on. The throw will not be in time and cut off by Garrett Williams. A big double for Burt Camper with 2 outs. And, Andy, we've seen this throughout this series. 2 outs have been a big play for all teams.
And Camper finds a way for extra base hits, his 3rd of the weekend, 2nd double of the weekend. Just hits that one the opposite way, takes it where it's pitched. Long run for Staley, gets it back in a hurry, but Burt Camper continues the hot bat. His third hit, all extra base hits this weekend.
So Camper on second now. We're going to see Kalen Halverson step in now. Found himself in a 5-3 putout in the second inning. First pitch to him.
Of course, Coy, that double for Camper stops the first 11 retired by Landman, the first base runner, first hit today for Utah Valley.
Yeah, that's been big. They can get that first hit. They've been able to score runners in scoring position, but left quite a few on this series. There's a strike to Halverson. Halverson batting .337 this season, .320 with runners on base. Could rave about this Utah Valley roster 1 through 9. Landman looks back and deals. High. It'll be a ball. It'll be a 2-1 count now.
Again, we've mentioned this all weekend long about these pitchers have been able to get into a rhythm because we haven't had base runners all that often. They're able to dictate the pace on the mound. Now with runner on second for the first time, Landman works a little slower.
That one away. It'll be a 3-1 count now, and Brett Landman's in the hole. We saw that with Jackson Thomas, of course, in that third inning, Andy. He got a little uncomfortable there, and those two came to pass on sacrifice hits for ACU. That's been the difference maker in this ball game here through 3 2/3. Landman from the stretch. That one's inside. He's going to walk him. A good at-bat there for Callan Halverson. Gets him on base. Now there's runners on first and second, but importantly, Andy, there is a force play now at second as you see Nate Bach stepping in.
Well, as you mentioned a second ago, that Utah Valley's done a majority of their damage this weekend with 2 outs. And their first rally this afternoon, first base runners come here, 2 outs in the 4th.
Get the big slugger, Nate Bach, stepping in. Also, a lot of power in his bat. Watches one right there for a strike this season. 9 home runs, 25 RBIs, 3 doubles for him, pardon me.
A team leader in both of those categories, the 9 home runs, 25 RBIs.
Landman deals. It shows bunt. This one will go foul, and we're going to reset here and try again. Halverson at first, Camper at second.
Unique decision there.
Yeah.
0-1 count, your leading home run hitter. 2 outs in the inning. You're not trying to move runners with 2 outs. Maybe just trying to catch Greer deep at third asleep. Get you an infield single, but unique time to try to lay down a bunt third base side.
Well, if you're Eddie Smith, maybe you're just trying to find something different. Of course, this team looked off yesterday. Every now and then they had those normal plays, but looked a little off. That one, high. He is a bit of confusion here, and they're going to say it was a ball.
A check swing. They check down to first base umpire. Says he does not go around.
Yeah, and Camper's going to advance to third on the confusion there. Of course, they can always throw you off up here in the booth if all 9 players start to head in, Andy, as you see Rick McCarty heading up to talk to his lefty here.
And I think this is a calm down conversation. Just, okay, you thought that was strike 3. It wasn't strike 3. But that doesn't mean the inning's over. You can't lose focus here of just being 1 strike away from getting out of this top of the 4th.
Yeah, and this is something Rick McCarty's used to a lot of effect this week, Andy. These little breaks, these conversations he can have with his pitcher. See, home plate umpire Jet Minton going up there to have a conversation. Clayton Hams at first and John Perez over at third base. It's your crew for the day. See everyone getting reset here.
Yeah, I love that conversation. I think that's a great mound visit.
Absolutely.
You've got a freshman on the mound. Intense ball game today. Chance to talk to your lefty.
So runners on the corners now. In the 1-2 count, that one popped foul. Halverson was going on that pitch.
And And look how slow Halverson's making his way back to first. A little gamesmanship here. Landman's ready to go. Halverson just going to walk back to first.
One of those pieces of the game, Andy, you
Yep.
know, you see every now and then. Smart ball player.
Yep. Just try to disrupt the rhythm.
Another big 1-2 pitch here. This one cracked off the end of the bat. Ladisaw moving back, doesn't have to move much and has room for the third out of the inning, and Brett Landman gets out of the jam with a runner in scoring position and one on first. ACU still leads 2-0. Stick with us. We'll be back in a minute. Saturday afternoon baseball in a sunny Abilene, Texas. Nice and bright out here as you see Jackson Thomas back on the mound for the Wolverines. He looked pretty good in his first outing, and he set up 3 down, but had a little bit of trouble in that last inning with some sac hits.
Yeah, the Wildcats, the bottom portion of the lineup. Staley, Greer, back-to-back hits, single and a double. Then back-to-back sacrifices. Sacrifice bunt, Reese Borho with the RBI. Zant Payne, the sacrifice fly with the RBI. And ACU playing the small ball well. They get to Thomas with 2 runs there in that third inning. Play with that 2-0 lead here in the fourth.
It'll be 3, 4, and 5 for Abilene Christian. Gino DeLessio, Garrett Williams, and DJ Van Atten, the real power heart of the order, if you will, Andy. All 3 of those guys, a little bit of pop in their bats as DeLessio fouls that one back. Flew out in the first inning for the final out of that inning. Of course, the pitcher was Chase Hennessy, the opener, you could call it, for the Wolverines. And the 0-1 to DeLessio bounces in for a ball. One outside, and it'll be a hitter's count now, the 2-1.
Coy, Stephen F. Austin, an early lead on Tarleton today. 2-0 Lumberjacks, bottom of the third. Tarleton goes for the sweep today.
One fouled off by DeLessio. Yeah, like we've talked about it, you know, Stephen F. Austin, a program that I'm sure everyone wants to see doing very good. Having a tough run here in conference play and a tough regular season, too, also. So, someone that really needs a win in conference play. The pitch here to DeLessio is inside for ball 3. It'll be a full count.
Yeah, 3-25 on the year, 0-11 to start conference play. Trying to get off the mat today, an early 2-0 lead. Of course, the Wildcats will be in Nacogdoches next weekend for a 3-game set.
So DeLessio walks on the full count, and there's a runner on here early on in the fourth inning for the Wildcats and for Garrett Williams, the Wildcats' second baseman. Grounded out in the second inning, 0 for 1 today. So now DeLessio on first. And ACU's been effective when they've gotten some guys on. Of course, we've seen it here early on, but especially with nobody out, they can use those small ball work, as that one is in there for a strike.
Well, Coy, as mentioned earlier, ACU on Thursday scored all their runs in 1 inning in the first. Yesterday they scored all their runs in 1 inning in the third. Today they've already had 2. Can they put together another inning here? Just more than anything, put some pressure on this pitching staff, Jackson Thomas. But also, I don't think 2 runs could be enough to win today. Can they manufacture some more runs and extend this 2-0 lead?
The 1-1 from Thomas in there for a good strike, 75 miles per hour.
It's a good pitch.
And Andy, you talk about, the story of this series could be the little blurbs of offense, but really, honestly, it's been getting a pitcher off their game, out of that rhythm. You've talked about it. We've seen that happen already today. That one for Williams hit out into right center field. Looks playable. Moving over and making the play is Cole Jordan. He will not have it back in time for any doubling up as DeLessio is already headed back to first, and there will be an out in the inning.
Well, it's been hard to find real estate in this Utah Valley outfield. Jordan with great speed over in right. Second play we've seen him make in the alley today. Of course, Nate Bach had a diving catch on Thursday. There is not much room to find green grass out in that outfield.
And Andy, I'm sure both of these coaches, when they saw the weather forecast for this week, probably put their hands on their faces looking at that wind. As DJ Van Atten fouls that one off. Of course, Van Atten, the big bat for ACU. Like to get his game going a little bit, but makes strong contact about anything he touches, Andy.
I think everybody kind of sits on the edge of their seat when Van Atten gets in the box. Chance to see something special.
0-1 high and inside, of course. Big walk-off home run for him against Penn this season. He can really use those lines, too, those foul lines. Get some tricky hits, had one of those last night. D'Alessio on first, the 1-1 pitch. And Van Atten offers at it for strike 2.
Coy, UT Arlington beat California Baptist 2 out of 3 this weekend. They played a doubleheader yesterday, but UTA ends up winning 2 out of 3 on the weekend. The Mavericks are hot at 8-4 in conference.
1-2 to Van Atten. He fouls that one off.
They sit at 8-4. California Baptist, who started the weekend at first, now sits at 6-3. They've only played 3 series as opposed to UT Arlington, who's played 4. They're finished the weekend off at 8-4. ACU trying to get to 8-4 with a win today.
1-2 pitch. Van Atten gets under that one and skies it into left field. Going back, Jaden Smith, he makes the play, and it'll be tossed back in. So Van Atten gets under one, but just not enough, and it looked like a home run swing, but definitely not the distance.
Well, he barreled it up well, but just got under it. Flies it out, and with the way the wind's blowing today, it's going to be hard to leave the yard.
So 2 back-to-back flyouts now, and Maddox Meese going to step in now. D'Alessio still on first after the walk. Meese 0 for 1 today throughout this ball game. Catcher for the Wildcats. And the first pitch is shot over to short. Fielded by Schwartz, over to second for the quick out at Dickinson. And the 6-4 will end the inning. Nothing for ACU after the walk. We're headed to 5. Stick with us on ESPN+. Welcome back to Abilene, Texas. Brett Lemon on the mound for ACU again here in the 5th inning. Coy Osler and Andy Penny. 2-run ball game here. A little bit of excitement in that 3rd inning and the top of the 4th for Utah Valley, but nothing since then really. Effective pitching has been the story of this game, Andy.
Well, nice job by Landman there in the top of the 4th to work around a 2-out double by Camper, followed by a walk by Halverson. Thought he had strike 3 on Bach. Did not get the call. Rick McCarty, a great mound visit just to allow Landman to collect his thoughts. And he comes back and he gets the fly out to left field to end the inning.
It'll be Cole Jordan, Garrett Broussard, and Isaac Lovings here in the inning for the Wolverines. The first pitch will be outside for ball 1. Broussard flew out to right field in the 3rd inning. He's 0 for 1 on the day. As he watches the 1-0, and that one will be ball 2. You know, you talk about that mound visit and how Brett Landman worked out of that. A very mature approach for a freshman. He looks very comfortable out on that mound, Andy.
Yeah, he is definitely in control, especially with nobody on the base pass. He's been in control. Finds himself behind in the count here, 3-0. But, yeah, confident approach. Steps up on the mound and sets himself, gets the signal from Maddox Meese and gets into the wind and goes to work.
3-0 pitch. In there for a strike. Patient at bat here from Cole Jordan. Brag about him. He's been watching these pitches and taking what he can and finds himself here in 3-1. The pitch. Just high for ball 4, and Cole Jordan works him a 5-pitch walk, and he's on now with nobody out.
Big take with a 3-1 count, but takes it. It stays up for ball 4. First time the Wolverines have had the leadoff man on here in 5 innings of offensive baseball. Utah Valley not known for their small ball, but in a 2-0 game top of the 5th. Does Coach Eddie Smith think about it?
Yeah, maybe, but you've also got Broussard and Lovings here. Lovings on deck, of course. 2 guys that can do some damage. Broussard 0 for 1 today.
0 for 8 on the weekend.
Still batting .293 though, Andy. Which is that one in there. First strike, 2, and Lamon already up big here. Jordan the runner on first. Of course, Loving's on deck. Infield playing normal depth. Did he offer at it? And they're going to say it's a strikeout right there. Nobody goes on the ball that scampers away from Maddox Misi, and Brett Lamon responds with a strikeout of Garrett Broussard.
Coy, right now Broussard is all sorts of confused. That ball skipped 8 feet in front of home plate. And Broussard could not hold up his check swing. Goes down on strikes.
You know, and that's what a pitcher like Brett Lamon can do, is can get in the head of a batter where they're sitting there going, okay, I'm going to have to swing here. Of course I am.
That was well out in front of home, and Broussard just couldn't hold off.
On the ground for Lovings, over to third to Greer, on to second, on to first. A big double play for ACU. They go Greer to Williams to DeLessio. The inning is over, and we're headed to the bottom of the 5th. Stick with us on ESPN+. Welcome back to Abilene, Texas. Hour and 5 minutes into this ball game here in Abilene, Texas. Bottom of the 5th inning. The Wildcats up 2-0, and Jackson Thomas and his boys are back out on the diamond, and they're going to face Staley, Greer, and Borjo for the Wildcats. Andy, it's been not exactly the most exciting ball game. A little bit of small ball here and there, but these pitchers have done great.
Well, they're doing a great job. I think there's no doubt that Utah Valley will make their plane on the way home today if we keep at this pace. Halfway through the ball game in an hour and 5 minutes. Give credit where credit is due. It's pitching and defense. That 5-4-3 double play there in the top of the 5th was impressive. Third double play the Wildcats have turned this weekend.
So here's Aaron Staley, who worked himself into a full count in the 3rd inning and then got himself a little single and found his way around on some sacrifice hits. He watches that one and fouls it off. It'll stay 0-2.
Coy, we mentioned Connor Madison. Grand Canyon had the no-hitter last night, the 4-0 Lopes win over Sacramento State. They have split their first 2 games of that series. Sac State win Thursday, Grand Canyon last night. They'll play Game 3 of that series, a rubber match today. If Sacramento State were to beat Grand Canyon, GCU would be 8-4. UT Arlington again at 8-4. ACU a chance to get to 8-4 today. That would be the top spot in the WAC.
That one outside will be the first ball of this at-bat. And people always wonder about conference tournaments. Maybe it's the people who are more college football fans, and that's about it. That's why there's conference tournaments, Andy. There are great teams all throughout, and it can get really knotted up.
Yeah, no doubt.
Staley watches another one outside.
And for ACU, again, the 4th weekend in a row in conference play, that Game 3 has been the rubber match. ACU's been successful in the first 3, so when you start thinking about tiebreakers, well, obviously the first tiebreaker is, well, who won the head-to-head series? Wildcats have been 3 for 3 in that category thus far, one of those versus UTA. Trying to do the same here versus Utah Valley because the Wolverines will be in the mix when the WAC tournament in Mesa comes around here at the end of May.
For sure. What a great program Eddie Smith has built here in his few years with the Wolverines. 2-2 pitch to Staley on the ground and playable at third. Over to first for the first out of this inning.
Well, Staley's had success hitting the opposite way this weekend. Just did not get all of that one in. He hits it right to Broussard, who had it played well. 5-3 on the putout.
So here's Ben Greer, who had him a flare double. Is that what we're going to call it there? They thought he was going to bunt and just chipped one out into left field and found his way over to second, and that held up Staley, and ultimately both of them came around and scored in that 3rd inning. So 1 for 1 on the day for the Wildcat third baseman as he watches that one outside for ball 1.
The bottom of the lineup did a job there in the 3rd. Staley and Greer both with hits. Borjo a sacrifice bunt. Payne the sacrifice fly.
We talk about Greer. Sorry, Andy. We talked about Greer working his way back into this ACU starting lineup, and in those limited appearances, slugging .452. I mean, just great numbers for him. He's found him a hot bat on the rack.
Well, he finds a way to make contact, put the ball in play, and then with the speed that he has, get around the base paths.
He's also done this a little bit. 3-0 count now.
Thomas just at 50 pitches, 3 1/3 innings of relief today. He's been effective.
Thomas is 3-0, finds the zone.
Yeah, good pitch there.
Yeah, good comeback. Borjo on deck for the Wildcats. The 3-1 pitch by Greer is shot out into center field. Going back is Nate Bach at the track, at the wall. He is there for the catch. A little bit of acrobatics after the catch, but Nate Bach there to make the play on the deep fly ball from Benjamin Greer.
Well, just another highlight reel type play by this outfield. Bach, a long run. He was shaded over a little to the right side of the outfield. Had a long run, 400 in center field, and had to get back there to the warning track and make the catch as he makes contact with the wall. But just another great play by this Wolverine outfield.
We talked about Nate Bach's weekend with the bat, but, I mean, out in the outfield, Andy, we've said his name quite a few times, someone who's made an impact defensively in this series. As Reese Borjo watches the first pitch for ball 1. And Jet Mitten's going to go have a conversation with Jackson Thomas. Looks like they're going to swap out balls here. Yep.
That's a unique conversation. You don't see too often pitcher and umpire have a conversation that doesn't include catcher or coach. But looks like everything's on the up and up.
Yeah. The 1-0 is in there for a strike. Reese 0 for 0 today. Had that sac bunt. Scored a run in the third inning, so good effort from him today. Working out of the 2-1 count, the pitch from Thomas. And it'll be a 3-1 count now.
Thomas a little frustrated after that pitch. Thought he had a fastball in the inside corner, did not get the call. Hitters count here at 3-1.
2 outs in the inning. He's had to work for him. The 3-1 pitch on the ground, chopped over to first. Fielded by Halverson. He's going to tap first, and that will be the inning. 3 up, 3 down, but a lot of work for Jackson Thomas. We're headed to 6. Stick with us on ESPN+. Welcome back to Abilene, Texas. Easter activities here for the kids at Crutcher, Scotfield, Coaslin, Andy Penny, and what is a 2-0 ball game, a pitcher's duel, if I ever saw one, Andy. And small ball's been the story, but these pitchers have also been a big part of it. And Brett Lamon, Andy, as you're telling me, 12 consecutive scoreless innings going back to that last outing for him, I believe it's Sacramento State, and now has continued that momentum into here and looks like he may be, I mean, definitely the hottest pitcher in ACU's bullpen.
Yeah, 7 last week, 5 today. Just giving up the 1 hit, the 2-out double to Camper in the 4th. That's been it. 59 pitches in. Still work to do. This Utah Valley offense is something impressive. Their lowest scoring output this year is 3 runs. So they'll find a way to continue to put the ball in play.
Well, it's going to be a challenge for him. It's going to be Dickinson, Smith, and Camper. He's going to see the top half of this lineup for Utah Valley for the 3rd time today. And then, you know, if you know anything about baseball, that's when stuff can really start to happen. As Lamon here working out of a 1-0 pitch to Dickinson, and it's in there for strike 1.
So, Coy, we had the Easter egg toss there a moment ago. What's the candy of choice this weekend?
I got to go with the M&Ms. I like the Easter ones with the pastel colors. I know
Okay.
they're not any different, Andy. Fouls one off.
See, I'm a peanut butter cup kind of guy. Can't go wrong.
Oh, you can't, for sure.
Although I'm also I'm a fan of the gummy stuff. You know, the fruity gummy stuff too. Really, you can't go wrong with anything.
No, really.
Jelly beans can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with jelly beans.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel a stop at the store on the way home this afternoon.
The pitch. It's high for a ball. It's a full count now. Dickinson 0 for 2 today. Flew out to right field in the fourth and grounded out in the first. Full count pitch. Popped up. Staley making a big run for it, but looks like it's going to be playable in center field for Reese Borho. One out. Or pardon me, that was Schwarb. I was off on my scorebook, Andy.
Yeah, Swartz to lead off, bottom of the lineup.
Yeah.
0 for 2 day. Now the top of the lineup, Dickinson.
Yeah, here we go now. Whew, one of those weekends, Andy. Now Daniel Dickinson stepping in, 0 for 2 today, as I've previously stated, and watches one low for ball one.
Well, a guy who sets the table here, Daniel Dickinson. It's been a tough weekend. The only Wolverine that's played in all 28, and started all 28 games. Sophomore from Richland, Washington, would love to get something going here in the 6th.
2-0 pitch to Dickinson. It's in there for a strike. Dickinson, of course, preseason all-WAC first team, leads the WAC in runs, second in hits, thirds in home runs, total bases. All around good ball players. He chips one off to the left side and foul. It's one thing, Andy, to get those preseason accolades, and then it's a completely other thing to back it up throughout the season. You've seen it a lot of times in college baseball. Someone may not have the best season after doing that, but he surely has. Long hold for Landman, the 2-2. Low for ball 3, and it'll be another full count.
0 for 9 this weekend. I'm sure Rick McCarty, if you told Rick McCarty, hey, Dickinson's going to be 0 for 9 going into the middle innings of Saturday, he would certainly take that.
Pop foul. And we're going to try that full count just one more time.
It's Utah Valley lineup as a team bats .283 this weekend. Currently, as we sit, batting .191 this weekend, 17 of 89.
That one chop foul again.
But again, Coy, just a few hits away here from tying a baseball game, finding a way to get the lead, and getting out of Abilene, winning the series. That's how dangerous this team is. We saw it on Thursday. ACU had a 3-2 lead in the 7th, and Utah Valley bats got hot.
Another one, and we're going to continue this at bat. Dickinson, of course, one of these guys that in this lineup, of course, you've said it, has struggled, but you got to hope at some point he's going to do something as he fouls another one off. And right now, working Brett Landman, who has had a great pace in this ball game, yep. Andy.
Was good at bat. Dickinson battling tough.
Another try on the 3-2 pitch from Landman. Shot out in the left center field, going back at the track, at the wall. It is gone. A big fly for Dickinson. Daniel Dickinson gets his first home run of this series, his first hit of the series, and he's got one on the board for his Wolverines.
Well, that's what team leaders do for your ball club. It's been a tough weekend. 3-2 sitting fastball. Got one he loved and drove it. 380 in the power alley, left center field, and that one leaves the yard. Borho and Ladisall watch it. One swing of the bat, the lead cut in half. It's a 2-1 ball game here in the 6th.
Well, I had said it. I almost spoke it into existence. Daniel Dickinson, he was due for one right there and found one, and now Jaden Smith stepping in, who he's had a little bit of pop in his bat this series, but he struck out twice today. Watches one and pops it foul. What a great at-bat from Daniel Dickinson, though, Andy. I mean, really worked that count, tried to get the pitch he wanted.
And Smith did something similar on Thursday. Fought off full count, fought off, waited for the pitch he want. Cade McGard the other night challenged with a fastball. Smith won the battle. Same thing. Landman challenged with a fastball. Dickinson wins the battle. His 9th home run. He's now tied for the lead in that category. The 3rd Wolverine with 9 home runs this year.
That one chuck foul by Jaden Smith. It'll be a 1-2 count.
That's what's so dangerous about this Wolverine offense. Just mentioned hitting 191 on the weekend, but one big swing can change the dynamic in a hurry.
Smith chops it over to short. Payne, a good fielding job over to first for the 6-3 put out, second out of the inning.
It's a tough play, Payne, and just charging, has to get it on the short hop. Of course, Smith with great speed down the line, but Payne fields it cleanly, fires over. D'Alessio, a nice stretch.
So now Burt Camper steps in. He had that double back in the 4th inning, but did not come around to score as Brett Lamon held hard. So 1 and 2 today for him. Of course, strikeout was the other out for him, and watches 1 for strike 1. Continuing to heat up here in Abilene, Texas. Starting out about 76 degrees at first pitch. Gets under that one and fouls it off. About 81 degrees right now, and by about 2:30 it'll be 83 degrees. So it continues to warm up. Of course, you know, players can feel the change and muscles changing and tightening up. 0-2 pitch. Just on the edge, about as close as you can get it, and a good take right there from Burt Camper.
But Landman thought he had strike 3 again.
It'll be a 1-2 pitch. Popped up. And foul over the press box. Wind carried that one quite a bit. And we'll try the 1-2 again. Camper catches his breath and steps back in. Lamon deals. It'll be high and away. It'll be a 2-2 count now. As you see, Burt Camper working his way into this one. Seen Utah Valley do this a couple times today, Andy. That one way and outside, and it rolls back to the backstop. It'll be a full count now with Callan Halverson on deck.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Another quality plate appearance here to fight back to a full count.
3-2 pitch from Lamon. Popped up. Zant Payne and Garrett Williams finding each other, but Williams is going to call him off and make the catch to in the inning. But Daniel Dickinson does some damage. Little alliteration there, Andy. It's a 2-1 ball game. We're headed to the bottom of the 6th. Stick with us on ESPN Plus. Welcome back to Abilene, Texas. It's now just a 1-run ball game, Andy, as we welcome everyone back to Abilene, Texas, bottom of the 6th inning. And for ACU, it will be Payne, Lattisaw, and D'Alessio stepping in now. So top of the ACU order for Jackson Thomas, the, I guess, technical reliever so far for the Wolverines. He's gone 4 innings, 2 hits, 2 earned runs for him, a walk, and no strikeouts. Up to about 59 pitches in this ball game, Andy.
Well, he's been highly effective. You take away a leadoff single by Staley the opposite way and a flare for a double by Benjamin Green right after. 2 sacrifices to score the 2 runs.
You said it. Put an asterisk by that inning.
Yeah.
He's looked great otherwise. And Zant Payne stepping in now 0 for 1 with a strikeout but an RBI on a sac fly. He was the 2nd run he brought through, as Payne gets under the first one and shoots it over to second and fielded cleanly by Dickinson and over to Halverson for the first out of this inning.
McCoy right on cue as Payne rolls over a ground ball over to second base. I mean, nobody has hit it solid on Thomas since he came in. And there's just another ground ball rolled over to second. Payne's quick one out. And Thomas just continues to do his thing. He gave up those back-to-back hits, 2 sacrifices to score the 2 runs. Other than that, he walked D'Alessio in the 4th, but that's been it.
Well, here's Miller Lattisaw, who's had quite a bit of a struggle this series so far. Not exactly been the story as he watches one in there for strike 1. 1-1 count now. He's been very patient, like I've said earlier in the broadcast, picking that bat off his shoulder very selectively. Watches the 1-1 and gets under it and shoots it in the center field. Nate Bach going back right in front of the track, makes the quick snag on the run for a quick second out of this inning.
Bach had that one played pretty well. He was shaded over the left side in center field. Not too terribly long of a run. That ball was tailing away from him, but because he had it positioned well, he was able to get over and make the catch. 2 quick outs. Coy ACU in this series has scored 13 runs. All 13 have been in the first 3 innings. They have not scored between innings 4 through 9.
They'd like to obviously get something going here now with 2 outs. They've done that in this series, but Gino D'Alessio stepping in now. If there's anyone that could start a rally, Andy, here's the guy. Gets under one and shoots it through the hole into left field.
Nice call, Coy.
I continue to speak it into existence for both sides. Don't give me any bias. As D'Alessio shoots one to left field, and that will be his first base hit of the afternoon. Or pardon me. Yeah, his first base hit, pardon me, his second time on base.
Extends the hitting streak to 5 games. He's been on base now 23 in a row. A little 2-out single. 3rd hit of the day for the Wildcats.
So Garrett Williams going to step in now, the second baseman. He's 0 for 2. Another bat that's been quiet, silent for ACU. As Thomas checks over to first at D'Alessio. Throws over. And D'Alessio will be back in time.
Gino not a huge threat to run. He swiped 2 bases on the year. Coach Eddie Smith is going to come out. I think this might be more of a defensive strategy and potentially a chance for a bullpen to start scattering. But the way Thomas has been pitching, only 65 pitches to his name, I think this is more of a defensive strategy type conversation. With 2 outs in the inning, we saw a hit and run, very successful last night. Miller Ladisaw with a hit and run last night. So Rick McCarty and company for the Wildcats, they like to generate offense. With 2 outs and a 2-1 ball game, this might be the chance to do it. So Eddie Smith wanted to talk to his team. And speaking of that, we might see a call to the bullpen.
Yeah, righty was warming up, Andy, and he's starting to make a little bit of movement, down to the gate, and he's going to jog his way on, and Jackson Thomas is going to depart with a runner on first. 2-1 ball game. Stick with us. We'll tell you who the new righty is in just a moment. Welcome back to Abilene, Texas. There's a new righty on the mound for the Wolverines. It's Nick Sims. Andy, what do you know about him?
Well, his 9th appearance of the year for the right-hander, the senior out of Menifee, California. His 9th appearance. No record as of yet. Does have 2 saves to his name. 7.88 the ERA. 16 innings of work. He's given up 14 earned runs in that time. 16 strikeouts. 9 walks on the year. His last appearance was Monday night, the midweek game versus BYU. Did not record an out. Gave up 4 earned runs in that appearance. He'll inherit a runner at first base. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th, and Garrett Williams at the plate.
Hey, talk about that outing against the Cougars with an infinite ERA for that game, but this season that number's still a little bit high in total, with Garrett Williams stepping in. And the pitch to Williams is in there for a strike. D'Alessio on first, of course. Sims, a quick delivery. It's in there for a ball. Very snappy motion off the mound for him.
Yeah, sidearm slot, a release point. Will help the spin of that off-speed pitch.
Something a little bit different than we've seen this week. The 1-1 pitch. Low and away for ball 2.
Eddie Smith, unique time to make that change.
Yeah.
As Thomas was on the mound, made a throw over to first to chase D'Alessio back to first, and then Smith comes out of the dugout to make the change.
Williams fouls that one off the right side, and it'll be a 2-2 count. And we talked about this a little bit earlier. Maybe we're trying a couple different things if we're Eddie Smith. Obviously, what's normally working hasn't been working for you, and maybe just throw a curveball at Rick McCarty. It'll be a 2-2 count for Nick Sims. Long pause and deals. On the ground over to third. It's a little chopper and on to second. Brassard to Dickinson ends the inning, and ACU has nothing come to pass after DeLessio's single. Stick with us on ESPN+. Welcome back to Abilene, Texas. There's a new Brett on the mound, or new pitcher, pardon me, Andy. No, just kidding. Brett Garcia on the mound for the Wildcats. Andy, what do you know about him?
Yeah, Brett coming in, the transfer out of Baylor, his second appearance of the weekend. He pitched Thursday, an inning and 2/3. Actually took the loss on Thursday in the 7-3 Utah Valley win, but he'll make his 10th appearance here today. 3.52 is the ERA, 15 1/3 innings of work. He's a strikeout power pitcher for Rick McCarty, 27 strikeouts, just 8 walks, and opponent batting average of 122. So he has been highly effective when he finds the strike zone. He struck out the side in the 6th on Thursday before he ran into some walk issues there in the 7th. He was the WAC pitcher of the week just a few weeks ago on March the 11th. And he will take over here after Brett Landman goes 6 solid innings. He'll inherit a 2-1 lead in the top of the 7th inning.
Yeah, we can close the book on Brett Landman. 6 innings pitched, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks, 2 hits, 1 run, and it was, of course, earned on that home run against Daniel Dickinson. 87 pitches for the ACU lefty as Brett Garcia takes over, and his first pitch is chalked foul by Callan Halverson. Halverson 0 for 1 today with a walk. Was stranded on base all the way back in the 4th inning. Can also close the book on Jackson Thomas. We'll do that here in a second as that one is fouled off by Halverson. Thomas, 4.2 innings, so 2/3 of the way through that last one. A walk, 3 hits, 2 runs, and both of those earned for him. A good outing also for the, I guess you could call it, technical starter for the Wolverines. Garcia's 0-2 pitch. Strike 3 called, got him looking, and Callan Halverson goes down looking for the first out of this inning.
Again, yeah, Garcia again, power pitcher. He struck out Camper, Halverson, and Bach in order, 1, 2, 3 in the 6th. So this is the same portion of the lineup that he came in and faced on Thursday, and he starts out the same way with the backwards K of Halverson.
He said 3 earned runs in that outing on Thursday night. This pitch in there for a strike. He was accredited with all the base runners on that grand slam. That was Cade McGarr got credit for the home run of that grand slam. Watch, big whiff right there, and be a 1-2 count again.
Yeah. Did you close the line on Landman?
Yes,
yeah, okay.
yes we
yeah,
did.
6
yes,
innings
we
of work.
did.
Yep, 87 pitches again. Just quality outing again for the freshman lefty.
And he's done it all season, Andy. 1-2 pitch on the ground over to short. Payne, a little diving action, a little bouncer over to first and fielded well by DeLessio. None of those problems on that left infield today, Andy.
Man, what a play. Zan Payne, that ball ate him up a little bit. He had to decide if he was going to play it on the short hop or how he's going to play it. He actually has to force his momentum backwards down to his backside, plays it up over his head. Quick snap throw over to first. Nice scoop by DeLessio, 6-3.
All right, Cole Jordan stepping in now. Watches a strike down the middle. Those 2 quick outs in the inning. Jordan 0 for 1 today with a walk in the 5th inning. Lined out to first in the other at-bat, and that one is fouled back by him, and quickly 0-2 work for Brett Garcia. Garcia 1 strike away from putting this top of the inning in the books. The 0-2 pitch. Fouled back. Defensive swing from Cole Jordan does the job.
Jordan going through his pitch sequence. The mental notes here of Garcia. It's an 0-2 count, 2 outs. What's coming? Have to protect the fastball. Defend off something else.
0-2 pitch from Garcia. He struck him out. Brett Garcia comes in and dominates the Wolverines. 3 up, 3 down, 2-1 ball game. Wildcats lead. We're headed to the bottom of the 7th. Stick with us and get stretching on ESPN+. Welcome back to Abilene, Texas. Eli Sundquist on the mound, the senior out of Chisholm, Minnesota. The righty coming in now after a third of an inning's work from Nick Sims. And, Andy, you know anything about this guy?
Yeah, his 8th appearance of the year. 0-2 is the record. All 8 appearances now in relief. 14 1/3 innings of work. 20 strikeouts, 8 walks, an ERA of 10.05, an opponent batting average of 306. He's called here in the bottom of the 7th to keep this a 1-run ball game on a pitcher's duel and a getaway day Saturday afternoon. It's been a good one. Sundquist will take over here on the mound, bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, Sundquist, you know, you talk about it. Good outing for him against Arizona State a little while back on the 20th. He went 2 innings and had a strikeout, so he could do some solid work. Necessarily the numbers don't reflect that. Still kind of finding our way to that mid-season area, so the numbers can be a little deceiving every now and then. And DJ Van Atten stepping in now for the Wildcats. It will be Van Atten, Meese, and Staley here in this inning. Infield playing out onto the outfield almost, the middle infielders at least. Van Atten watches one in there for a strike. Aggressive delivery also from Sundquist. Waits and pauses on the 0-1. Wanted it, didn't get it.
Well, a very electric delivery. Coming up out of that stretch, it comes set. A lot of arm action, shoulder action as he follows through.
That one high for a ball.
Big wide extension of the arms. As he pulls the ball out of the glove. He'll get that glove side hand stretch way out as well as the throwing hand back behind him.
Sundquist 2-1. Going to be ball 3, and it'll be a 3-1 count now.
Coy, Stephen F. Austin, a 5-0 lead on Tarleton as they head to the top of the 6th.
Called a strike right there. Of course, SFA looking for that first win of the conference slate for them. Going 1-11, or well, would be going 1-11 in that scenario. And tough year for them. 3-2 pitch from Sundquist. Fouled off onto the right side.
They started the year 3-1. Now 3-25. RGV an early 1-0 lead on Utah Tech. They go for the sweep today. Grand Canyon and Sac State a later start. Game 3 today.
Full count pitch. Struck him out swinging. And he cuts down the big ACU batter with a big strikeout and a welcome to the ball game for Eli Sundquist.
That was a count that was 3-0. Sundquist comes back and gets the strikeout. It's only the 3rd time that ACU batters have struck out today. They've done a nice job of at least putting the ball in play. Only the 3rd strikeout, but this might be the game of Sundquist's power pitcher.
Here's Maddox Meese now as he watches the first pitch. Called high for ball 1. Meese today 0 for 2. He's had a tough year, Andy. We've talked about it. Someone that would really like to get his bat going, and I would say the big problem there has been the strikeout for him. 1-0 pitch in there for strike 2, or strike 1, pardon me.
Maddox, a guy that will find his way in the lineup just because he's so good defensively, especially at catcher. We saw him play some third base last year. The majority of this year has been at catcher. So just a guy that you're willing to extend some grace to offensively because of what he does back behind the plate.
And Maddox, one of those guys, if you dig into the numbers a little bit, the splits do show that he's a favorable batter here and there, but obviously someone that I'm sure, knowing him, wants to get his bat going. 2-1 pitch on the ground is short. Fielded cleanly, and the throw on to first, as Schwartz has no problem getting to that one.
Easy ground ball,
Yeah.
Schwartz.
Schwartz took it like it was a batting practice grounder almost. A little pop of the glove. Aaron Staley now 1 for 2 today. Got that single back in the third that started that 2-run rally for ACU. Those 2 runs have been the difference in this ball game. Sundquist's pitch. Strike.
Staley 2 for 5 on the weekend, and both hits have just been opportune times. Yesterday in the 8-run third inning that kept that inning going. Today to lead off the third inning, an opposite field single to left.
Chopped over to second, fielded cleanly by Dickinson, on to first. Halverson's there for the out, and Eli Sundquist comes into this ball game and sets him down in order. It's still 1 run, Andy. We're headed to number 8. Stick with us on ESPN+. Saturday afternoon WAC baseball. Coy Oslin, my friend Andy Penny. It's a 2-1 ball game, top of the 8th. Britt Garcia is going to see Garrett Broussard, Isaac Lovings, and Matthew Schwartz, the bottom of the order for the Wolverines. And to carry us home for this series, Andy Penny.
Hey, thanks, Coy. 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors for ACU. 1, 2, and 0 for Utah Valley. Just 5 hits combined through 7 innings of work. Been a pitcher's duel today. Brett Garcia to pitch here in the 8th. First pitch to Broussard. Off speed, that misses 4 balls, 1-0. Broussard, Lovings, and Schwartz, as Coy mentioned. Broussard 0 for 9 on the weekend. Looks for his first hit. Miss on this curveball. It's 1-1. We said that a few minutes ago about Dickinson. 0 for 9 looking for his first hit. He hit the solo home run in the top of the 6th. The 1-1. This one lifted foul out of play.
And Andy, more importantly, no matter what, the top of that Utah Valley lineup's going to get to come through once again. So
either here in the 8th or in the top of the 9th.
This one's far from over.
A Wolverine offense that averages 7.5 a game. Been limited today. There's a ball grounder to third base side. And over at third, D'Alessio, who's moved over to third, makes the play. Throw across to Jack Nielsen, who's taken over at first base. Defensive substitutions, 5-3 on the putout. Rick McCarty did the same last night. Benjamin Greer, who starts at third, has moved out to right field. D'Alessio, who started at first, has made his way across the diamond and is now at third base. And Jack Nielsen, the defensive substitution, over at first. First pitch, Isaac Lovings. Lovings today is 0 for 2. Hit into a double play his last time up. The Wildcats have turned 3 double plays this weekend. D'Alessio into the wind and the 1-1. There's another strike, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Brett Landman went the first 6 innings today, gave up the solo home run to Daniel Dickinson. 1 run on just 2 hits. Garcia pitched a perfect 7th. He's got 1 out here in the 8th. And Loving stays alive as he fouls 1 off.
Yeah, Garcia, I mean, he looked stellar in that last 7th inning, and he comes in here and just dominated the heart of that Utah Valley lineup. So, guy who's found his groove going into this one.
It was his 2nd inning of relief that the Wolverines got to him on Thursday. There's a grounder, shortstop. Payne's got it cleanly. 2 up, 2 down. He retired the first 5 on Thursday. He's retired the first 5 here this afternoon. Back-to-back grounders to the left side.
Yeah, you got those right-handed batters throughout that lineup, as you've said, Andy. And, man, that left side of the infield's gotten a lot of work today, whether that's Benjamin Greer or Gino DeLessio or anyone over there really has seen quite a few come their way and continue, rinse, and repeat.
Matthew Swartz 0 for 2 today, 2 for 9 on the weekend. He popped up to first base, then back in the third inning, flied out to center in the sixth. Garcia works quickly. Curveball for a strike. We're working on less than 2 hours here, Coy. Top of the eighth with 2 outs.
Yeah, been very effective on these pitching duels, and of course that pitch clock helps quite a bit.
It's a 1-1. This one hit, shot the other way into right field. And Swartz has a 2-out single. Tying run is on the base pass with 2 outs in the eighth.
Like you said, Schwartz, he's 0 for 2 today. Here he comes into this at bat. You're late in the game, 2 outs in the eighth. Good piece of hitting out into right field, and now you're on base and got a guy in Daniel Dickinson coming up.
Dickinson, the loud swing this afternoon, the solo home run in the sixth, his lone hit of the weekend, 1 for 10 on the weekend. Preseason WAC Player of the Year, a chance to help out his Wolverine team. He'll show bunt, pull it back, take a curveball outside.
Seeing the power hitters in this Utah Valley lineup, Andy, come up and show bunt a couple times in this game. Not sure if that's the plan or mind games.
Another all-speed pitch for a strike. Be curious to see if Eddie Smith tries to get the wheels turning with Swartz over at first. Stolen base, hit and run. Utah Valley leads the WAC, 36 stolen bases, but they've only attempted 1 this weekend. They're 1 for 1. This one hit into the alley, right center field. Long run for Greer. He won't get there. Swartz on his horse, rounding third. He'll come to the plate with no throw. It's an RBI double, Daniel Dickinson. We got a tie ball game here in the top of the eighth. Swartz with 2 outs at first base was able to move on contact as that ball gets to the right center field gap. And there was no stop sign at all over at third. He scores easily from first. We're tied at 2.
Yeah, just up that power alley in right field. And, you know, we were wondering when Daniel Dickinson was going to get to do something, as you see a conversation between Coach and Jaden Smith there having a conversation. But we've seen Daniel Dickinson start to heat up here late in this ballgame, trying to take that momentum into their next series against Utah.
So Garcia, the same output we saw the other night. He retired the first 5 that he faced in relief, and then with 2 outs, Utah Valley was able to get to him. They put 4 runs on the board. Jaden Smith had the big swing, the grand slam on Thursday. He comes to the plate. 0 for 3 today, struck out twice and a ground out. Dickinson, the go-ahead run, now at second base. A 2-2 ball game, top of the eighth. Garcia look at second in the first offering. Curveball for a strike. Garcia did not face Smith the other night. Garcia was lifted. Cade McGar in relief came in. Smith the grand slam off McGar. The 7-3 Wolverine win on Thursday. Runner on the move. Fastball fouled out of play. We'll do 0-2. Oh, no balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, Dickinson, he's got some wheels. 16 stolen bags this season for him.
It leads the WAC.
Yeah.
Has not been thrown out. 16 for 16. He'll take his time walking back to second base. A 2-out single by Matthew Swartz, followed by an RBI double by Dickinson. It's tied our ball game. No balls, 2 strikes to Jaden Smith. Chokes up on the bat, that right side. Garcia comes set. And he'll chase Dickinson back to the bag.
A little tricky throwback there for Garcia. Kind of started his pitching motion but disengaged the rubber in time. Step back and through.
The 0-2. Kick, the pitch. Swung on and missed for strike 3. Meese will apply the tag. Garcia gets out of the 8th. But Daniel Dickinson, a 2-out RBI double, has tied our ball game. 2-2, Wolverines and Wildcats will move to the bottom of the 8th. Two-two ball game, bottom of the 8th. Eli Sundquist will get his second inning of work. Highly effective in the 7th as he sat down the Wildcats in order. 2 groundouts and a strikeout, just 13 pitches. And now the pitcher of record here with the tie ball game, so we move to the bottom of the 8th.
Hey, he's got to feel good about that. Came down, looked a little bit wild in those first 3 pitches he threw in the 7th, but came back and shut him down 3 in a row, Andy. So Eli Sundquist coming in here and pitching well.
2 runs, 4 hits for Utah Valley now. 2 runs, 3 hits for ACU. We've played errorless baseball. Benjamin Greer to lead it off. The only extra base hit for the Wildcats today. A double and a run scored, then back in the 3rd. Sundquist out of the stretch. Fastball high. It's 1-0. ACU with 2 runs in the 3rd. Utah Valley with single runs in the 6th and the 8th. 1-0's outside. Again, ACU this weekend has only scored runs in 3 innings. Every game so far this weekend, they've only scored in 1 inning each ball game. 3 in the 1st on Thursday, 8 in the 3rd yesterday, 2 in the 3rd today. Strikes 2 and 1. Have to manufacture runs here late to get the series win. The rubber match here in Game 3. 2-1. Check swing, stays out. 3 balls and 1 strike. It's this bottom of the lineup that manufactured the 2 runs back in the 3rd. Trying to get a base runner to get the inning underway. 3-1 misses. It's a leadoff walk. Benjamin Greer on his way to first.
Yeah, second time getting on base today for Benjamin Greer, and been very patient in his at-bats, gotten what he needs to every now and then, and now you got Reese Borjo stepping in here with top of that ACU lineup threatening also.
Wolverine infield anticipating a sacrifice here. Borjo's already laid one down today, a sacrifice that was an RBI, scored a run from 3rd. He'll go ahead and square. Broussard at 3rd, well in. This one skips away. It's a wild pitch. And for the Wildcats, that works even better than a sacrifice.
Yeah, that was better than anything they could have asked for. That one bounces away. And now you got 93 feet between 2nd and 3rd for Ben Greer.
Now the question becomes, does Borjo sacrifice him over to 3rd? Broussard is in the infield grass. Last step of the infield grass, left side. Borjo squares. Pulls back. It's a strike. In this situation, you want Broussard to have to charge and field. So nobody occupies 3rd. Greer has the chance to move 2nd to 3rd. Throw back to 2nd. Greer back in.
Very close there at 2nd, Andy. Greer does have some wheels on him. 3 stolen bases this season.
Borjo squares again. 1-1 count. Sundquist pitch. Low for a ball. It's 2-1. Top of the lineup waits on deck. Zant Payne.
That aggressive delivery from Sundquist can kind of make it a little bit difficult to bunt.
Have to keep it on the ground here. Lay one down. Borho misses here. He made the attempt but misses. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Reese back now back of the box with a 2-2 count. It's the 2-2. Swinging this time, hits it the opposite way. Broussard plays it in fair territory. Can't make a play on it. Greer, though, unable to advance as that ball hit right on the top of the third base bag. So Greer had to hold, but Borho hits it the opposite way. Has not been officially scored. I think that will go as a single. That would have been a tough play, a long throw across the diamond. We'll wait for the official call, but Broussard didn't field it cleanly, but again, that would have been tough to get Reese out. They will give it an infield single. First and second, nobody out.
Well, that was a good effort by Broussard not to overreact to what came towards him. And you do have that force option at second, but you got speed on first and second. Some guys that can run a little bit. No steals this year for Borho, but no strategy from Rick McCarty. He's going to leave his center fielder on first.
And now Zant Payne, top of the lineup. Do you swing away or do you move your runners into scoring position? He'll square and show bunt. Sundquist first offering. Laid down third base side. Will tail foul, though. It's 0-1.
That one was perfect, Andy, for about a couple feet, but usually that spin gets out. And a foul ball it'll be.
Well, I think here it doesn't have to be right down the line because the shortstop Schwartz is right up the middle. He does not have time to get to third to cover. The only thing you don't want is Sundquist, the pitcher, to field it and allow Broussard to get back to third for a force out. But if you force Broussard to play it, the runner should advance. There's the 0-1. It's in for a strike, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, Payne didn't like the call on that strike there, but now that 0-2 count, this is a tricky situation. You got a force play at second.
Sundquist, the 0-2. That's up, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Brave take there for Zant Payne. Has to watch that one up and away, pardon me.
Fastball at 92. 1-2 count. Greer at second, Borho at first. Lifted. Foul territory. Broussard underneath it. Will make the catch. Big first out for the Wolverines, bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, massive, and they squeezed Zant Payne into a situation where he couldn't bunt. And that's exactly what has happened now back-to-back with Borho and now Payne, and now Miller Ladislaw stepping in, a guy who a couple people may say is overdue to make something happen here in this series.
He's 0 for 3 today, 2 for 12 on the weekend. Did hit a solo home run back in game 1. Current hitting streak at 5. He's reached base in 26 straight. Trying to keep that streak alive. First offering. Off-speed pitch. Stays up for a ball. Utah Valley infield will play at double play depth. Schwartz at shortstop plays up the middle. It's a 1-0. That off-speed pitch will catch the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's again that patient approach from the Wildcat left fielder Miller Ladislaw. Seen it all year from him.
1-1. Outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Greer a leadoff walk. Borho follows with a single. Greer at second, Borho at first. Zant Payne fouled out left side. Broussard the catch. 2-1 here to Ladislaw. Another off speed. It's 2-2. Good tension here at the ballpark. Bottom of the 8th in a 2-2 ball game. the 2-2 pitch. Fouled off. We'll do it again.
Yeah, Ladisaw's just waiting on his pitch. If you're Sundquist, you got to be thinking that, yeah, here's a guy that'll take a pitch, though, so I got to be careful.
Two. Runner on the move. Throw down to third. Greer is safe at third. Boy, the throw from Camper beat Greer. Broussard lost his footing. Made the catch. Greer slides around the tag. He's safe at third. Borjo also advances on the play. He's now down at second.
Yeah, now Eddie Smith and third base umpire John Perez having a conversation about that one.
Ladisaw did strike out for the second out of the inning. But Greer safe down at third base.
Yeah, Gino D'Alessio stepping in now, who, I mean, has been an RBI machine here in the WAC this season. And now 2 in scoring position for him. And these are the duels people talk about, Andy, here in a rubber match game.
Well, Sundquist does the job with the strikeout, so 2 outs in the inning. It'll take a hit or a wild pitch to score the run. First pitch, D'Alessio, off speed. Misses for a ball. Gino, as you can see, 1 for 2 today. He's walked. He's singled. That's outside. On the weekend, 4 for 11. Home run, 2 RBIs. ACU at 7-4 in the conference. Utah Valley at 5-3.
They're going to intentionally walk him.
Take the bat out of his hands, load the bases with the intentional walk.
Tough decision right there, but I respect it. I've been showing a lot of respect there to Gino D'Alessio, Andy.
Utah Valley will put it in the hands of Garrett Williams here at the plate. Bases loaded, 2 outs, bottom of the 8th. Williams today 0 for 3. Ground out, fly out, hit into a fielder's choice. 3 for 11 on the weekend. First offering. Fastball for a strike. Oh, 1 skips in. Boy, great job, Camper behind the plate. That ball skipped a foot in front of home plate.
We've seen him do that a couple times this week. Burt Camper has been really effective behind that dish on stopping it.
Sundquist set, the kick, the 1-1. Misses in, 2 balls and 1 strike. Nowhere to put Garrett Williams with the bases loaded. Greer at third, Borjo at second. D'Alessio down at first. 2 balls, 1 strike. 2-1. Grounder, slow roller. It'll stay foul, third base side. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Eli Sundquist trying to work out of a jam. The first 2 Wildcats reached. He is 1 strike away from getting out of this bottom of the 8th. Williams steps back in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The 2-2. Outside, it's full count.
Wow, Andy. I mean, right now, this is a scenario where the series is on the line on what could be 1 pitch.
Runners for the Wildcats will get a chance to get the wheels turning. With a full count and 2 outs. Sundquist set. Payoff pitch. Grounder left side. Backhand under the glove of Schwartz. Everybody's safe. Greer is in. Borjo is in as well. Matthew Schwartz will want to have that one back. It'll go as an E6 2-run score. The Wildcats a 4-2 lead.
Wow, and just when it needed to happen, ranted and raved about how great the left side infields of both teams have been today, and just a little roller under Schwartz's glove causes the problem here, and 2-run score for the Wildcats.
Schwartz just played that one a little too casually tried to backhand pick it and just played it a little too casually, and it stayed underneath the glove, got away from him. Borjo at second, again, runner on the move with a full count and 2 outs. Just rounded third on contact, scored as well. 2 huge runs here in the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, and you got to talk about what Utah Valley's got to be thinking strategy-wise, but Andy, you've also got to be putting yourself in Rick McCarty's shoes. Who are you going to bring out now in the 9th inning? And as this inning continues with 2 outs, we've seen this already from ACU. They are not shy of doing work with 2 outs.
So get another look at the hit here from Williams. Just a ground ball to third, or check that to shortstop. Schwartz moving to his right, but had plenty of time to pick that. But was starting to think about the throw and knew it would be a bang-bang play over at first base, a long throw deep in the hole, but didn't field it cleanly. The 4th error of the weekend for Utah Valley, their first today, but comes at critical time in the ballgame.
Well, for Matthew Schwartz, you can't blame him on that. You can't practice for a scenario like that, and he'll make that play 99% of the time, but hey, sometimes it doesn't happen.
Van Atten will foul the first one back. DJ 0 for 3 today. So now D'Alessio is at second, Williams at first. That's up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Really unfortunate for Sundquist.
Yeah.
He was battling there. It's been a tough inning as the first 2 reached. Of course, situational baseball and trying to move runners over. He did not allow ACU to get down a successful sacrifice. Had fought back to get 2 outs and had a ground ball to potentially get out of the inning.
Well, Andy, you got to think about that double steal now. The very close call at third base. Both those runs come to pass.
Here's the 1-2. Just misses. Check down to first. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Looking ahead to the Utah Valley 9th, it's Camper, Halverson, and Bach, 3, 4, and 5. So the heart of the lineup will get a chance for UVU. Off speed stays upstairs. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
And Andy, that's a good group right there. You really got to be excited about that bunch coming up now if you're on Utah Valley's bench.
Chance for the Wildcat runners to be on the move again. Full count with 2 outs. Sundquist set. Here's the payoff pitch. Swung on and missed for strike 3. Sundquist gets out of the inning, and he retires the side here in the 8th. Not before ACU pushes 2 big runs across. They do it with just 1 hit and 1 error. We'll move to the 9th. It's ACU 4 and Utah Valley 2. Top of the 9th, Rick McCarty's going to the bullpen here to try to close it out for the second night in a row. Caden Grenade will get the ball here in the 9th inning.
Yeah, Andy, the 6'3" righty out of Denton, Texas. He's on his junior year of his college time. And, hey, last night, 2 innings of work for him, 3 strikeouts, and got the save in that ball game. Really solid outing for him, 3.12 ERA this season for him. So Rick McCarty goes with his right-handed gun, and hey, we're close to it.
His first save of the year last night in the Wildcat 8-6 win. First pitch swinging. A ball by Camper rolled over to third. D'Alessio throw across the diamond. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the top of the 9th. Camper's day now at 1 for 4.
Number 13,
4 runs, 4 hits, no errors for ACU. 2 runs, 4 hits, 1 big error for Utah Valley there in the bottom of the 8th. Error that scored 2 runs for the Wildcats. That's the difference right now in the 4-2 ball game. Callan Halverson 0 for 2 with a walk today. Halverson 3 for 12 on the weekend.
Yeah, Andy, Camper, Halverson, and Bach, these 3 that we're seeing so far in this inning, they're the ones that he saw in the bottom of the ninth, in the top of the ninth yesterday.
Check swing down to first. Did he go? Yes, he did. Quickly, no balls and 2 strikes. Wildcats look for their 4th series win in 4 WAC weekends. The 0-2. Swung on and missed for strike 3. Utah Valley down to their final out this weekend.
Number 5, Nate Bach.
9th total strikeout for ACU today, and couldn't have been any bigger as Nate Bott goes down swinging. Calvin Halverson, pardon me.
Now Nate Bach at the plate. Out in front of an off-speed pitch. Fouls it off the plate, it's 0-1. Bach today 0 for 3. Ground out, fly out, ground out. Skips in, 1 ball, 1 strike. Utah Valley, a midweek series with University of Utah this week, 2 games. They'll play Utah Tech next weekend. ACU heading to Austin on Tuesday to play the Longhorns of Texas before heading to Nacogdoches next weekend to play SFA. Here's the 1-1 to Bach. He'll show bunt, foul it, third base side. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, and for Utah Valley, that midweek with Utah, it's a really interesting home and away for those 2 teams. Back-to-back games.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. ACU the 4-2 lead. Grenade the kick, the 1-2. Check swing, gets away, did not give at it. 2 balls and 2 strikes. ACU has lost the first game of all 4 series. They bounced back to win games 2 and 3. Trying to do it for the 4th weekend in a row. Here's the 2-2. Do it again.
Really good at bat here from Nate Bach. Keeping defensive here in a 2-2 count.
Infield shifted to the left side. You can see Williams right up the middle. 2-2 again. This one hit third base side. It'll make its way into left field. A base hit. Wolverines stay alive. They'll get the tying run to the plate with 2 outs. Nate Bach a 2-out single.
Yeah, Nate Bach needed that, Andy. You've talked about his struggles in this series, and right here just lances one out into left field. A little cue shot past the third baseman, and he's on base here with 2 outs in the 9th.
If nothing else, Eddie Smith wanted a chance to get the tying run to the plate. Bach has offered that. He's at first. Here's Cole Jordan, 0 for 2 with a walk today. First offering. Curveball misses, 4 ball. A little drama in Abilene here in the late innings. ACU an early 2-0 lead. Utah Valley came back, tied at the top of the 8th. ACU took the lead in the bottom of the 8th. Another curveball swung on and missed. 1-1.
That was a pretty pitch right there, Andy. 76 miles per hour on that off speed and really tricked up Cole Jordan.
The 1-1. Lifted, left field, fairly deep. Ladisaw at the wall. Will watch it fly. It's a 2-run home run. Cole Jordan in the top of the 9th with 2 outs. It's a new ball game in Abilene. We're tied at 4.
2-out baseball, Andy. We've seen it all week, and right there, neither of these teams want to die. Cole Jordan goes up, and I mean, that's just a huge at-bat. Gets every ounce of it. It cuts through this West Texas win for 2 runs.
And it was a no-doubter off the bat. Jordan's 6th home run of the year, RBIs 17 and 18. And we are tied with 2 outs here in the top of the 9th. Inning continues, Garrett Broussard. He'll show bunt, foul third base side. Just a chance to get the tying run to the plate. Nate Bach offers it with a single to left. Jordan follows with a 2-run shot to left.
Yeah, and These two teams, we've seen it all week in Utah Valley. I mean, you could never write them out of the book. They have done such a great job, as you can see, a conversation here between manager and batter.
The 5th home run of the weekend for the Wolverines. Of course, led the WAC in that category to start the weekend with 50. Now 5 more this weekend, so up to 55. And at the most opportune times, the grand slam on Thursday by Smith, the 2-run home run here to tie it in the 9th by Jordan. The 0-1 to Broussard. This one lifted into right field. Greer giving chase. He's got room in front of the warning track. He'll make the catch. The side is retired, but the Wolverines get the 2 runs. We're tied at 4. We'll move to the bottom of the 9th here in Abilene. New pitcher for Utah Valley with new life here in the bottom of the 9th. Jacob Beltran will come in. Second time this weekend that Beltran has been on the mound. We saw him in relief on Thursday, worked an inning and a third of work through 14 pitches, and now Beltran will take over in a tie ball game here in the bottom of the 9th as the Wolverines 2 in the top of the 9th. It's a 4-4 ball game.
Yeah, Eddie Smith's team, we talked about it. They're not going to want to die here in this ball game. You got a series on the line, and here we are, bottom of the 9th. It's better than any book you could probably read, Andy.
Again, Beltran, his second appearance of the weekend. He came in and did not get a save, not a save opportunity on Thursday, but he did shut down the Wildcats in the 9th inning in that 7-3 win. Maddox Meesey to lead it off. Maddox 0 for 3 today. Beltran's first offering, fastball for a strike. Meesey, Staley is due, but Jack Nielsen has come in defensively, so probably Nielsen. Meesey, Nielsen, and Greer scheduled to bat here in the bottom of the 9th. He'll foul that off quickly. No balls and 2 strikes. 4 runs, 6 hits, 1 error now for Utah Valley. 4 runs, 4 hits. No errors for ACU. The offense has come alive here in the late innings. 2-1 ball game going to the 8th. Now tied at 4 here in the bottom of the 9th. Meesey will lift this one into left field. Long run. Smith, he can't get there to fall in front of him. Maddox going to try to stretch it into a double, and he will. Feet first slide. It's a leadoff double. Maddox Meesey winning runs at second base with nobody out.
Yeah, and Andy, here in a game like this is when you're going to see the bats coming out. Pitchers, they're in their own head. Batters trying to do whatever they can, and this one could get out of hand, but both these teams really want this one.
I did not think off the bat that had an opportunity for a double, but Smith didn't get to it in a hurry, and Maddox was thinking double off the bat and was able to get there with the feet first slide.
And Holden Rook coming in now to run from second base. You got to get some wheels over there for Jack Nielsen.
So Holden Rook, the sophomore out of the Woodlands. Where's number 24? You see him there. He is the winning run at second. Here's Jack Nielsen, first plate appearance. Came in defensive substitution. Now has to do a job offensively. He'll square it down, lay down the bunt third base side. Beltran's only play is over to first, skips it in. Dickinson picks it out of the turf. 1-4 on the sacrifice, but it does a job. Rooks at third with 1 out.
Yeah, and that was about as good as it can get. ACU struggled to get a bunt down like that in the 8th inning, but right there, that's what you want. You want that little hop and chop where the pitcher has to work for it. Could have gotten a little squirrely there on that throw, Andy.
Intentional walk to Benjamin Greer. He'll make his way to first. I wonder if Borjo will also get an intentional walk, or if they'll just play with the double play. At this point, with the winning run at third, you can put extra base runners on the base pass because that's more opportunities for outs for your defense. The only run that matters is the run at third base. Eddie Smith wants to talk to his infield here, and he'll come out for a mound visit.
Yeah.
So the Greer intentional walk puts him at first. The double play is now back into effect. Borjo's already laid down a sacrifice bunt that scored a run from third. Did that back in the third inning. Rick McCarty is also talking strategy as he's pulled in his base runners. Third base coach Blaze Lambert's made his way back to the first base dugout. All sorts of strategy here in the rubber match. Big series in the WAC. 4-4 ball game, bottom of the ninth. Winning runs over at third base.
Just one out in the inning here, and Borjo's found his way on before, so.
Borjo, a guy with good speed. I think this is just get something, put something in play, get some contact, and
anything,
force some activity in the infield and see what happens.
Left side playing in.
Dixon will play a little deeper at second base, but not as deep as usual. Still have to cut off the plate. He'll take a ground ball for a double play. Broussard at third plays last step of the infield grass. Borjo will show bunt, pull it back, take a strike. Both the corners charged. Swartz still plays up the middle, so Halverson has Broussard at third has a lot of ground to cover on the left side by himself. 0-1, off speed for a strike, quickly 0-2. Beltran ahead in the count.
Good pitch right there.
Rook at third, the winning run. Greer at first. 0-2 with one out. Beltran, the 0-2. Lifted, foul, third base side.
Defensive swing there for Borjo. He needed that. Beltran, who you said hasn't given up a run so far this season, got 190 feet away.
The 0-2. Put into play down the right field line, and fair! It's a walk-off RBI single for Reese Borjo. Holden Rook scores. The Wildcats win the series 5-4 in dramatic fashion on a Saturday afternoon in Abilene.
Yeah, and Andy, right here, the hometown kid shoots one into right field. An Abilene, Texas product brings one home, and hey, these ACU fans are going to go home happy, but Utah Valley put up a great fight, Andy.
Spectacular weekend of baseball in Abilene, Texas. WAC baseball at its finest. ACU a 5-4 win today. They win the series 2-1. 5 runs, 6 hits, no errors for ACU. 4-6-1 for Utah Valley. Reese Borjo, the walk-off single in the bottom of the ninth. Hey, this has been a presentation of the Western Athletic Conference on ESPN. All games airing on the ESPN networks. They're streaming live. They're archived on the ESPN app. Till next time, for Coy Osland and for the whole crew led by Kerry Johnston, I'm Andy Penny. Take care. Good night from Abilene, Texas.